And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, it was a very big night of fights, and it was a huge win by Josh's man, Islam Makhachev. But the bigger moment, the biggest moment, is the fact that this is episode 300 of the Weighing In podcast, and we are absolutely thrilled to be able to talk about the fights that just took place. My man Josh Thompson doesn't have a lot to say. He said, you know what, there's really nothing I can say. I'm not going to really talk a lot because, I just already said it all is what he said. So we're just going to talk about this. Excuse me. No one wants to listen to you right now. What's up, brother?
You refer to me as Bad Take Thompson now. That's all you guys refer to me as. You guys can understand that I have the best takes in the sport of MMA. Don't ever discount me ever again. Lastly, though, I want to say this. You guys get used to saying this when Islam Makhachev fights. #and still.
Ooh, there you go.
If you guys want this shirt, you guys can pick it up at weighinginpodcast.com. Make sure you can pick up some of our merch. This shirt's available, and I know all you Islam fans, swoop one up, send a picture to us, and I'm going to post it to all those people that said Charles Oliveira is going to knock him out. Charles Oliveira is going to submit him. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. I'm going to send one to Big John, okay? Because that's what he needs. He needs one of these, too. He's going to get used to saying #and still.
I have one of those. And still, yes. It's because I am always and still the champion when it comes to the picks between you and me. So now you guys look at your man won it. He deserved it.
Fantasyland.
He looked fantastic. Look at I'm trying to be actually honest here, and you're on a train, man. You're just rolling along.
I'm just running through you. I'm running through you today.
I finally got one right.
My Twitter blew up. They were like, oh, man, take it easy on Big John, please. He's 80 years old. Just take it easy on him. I said, I'm gonna take it easy on him today.
Hard in the paint.
John, let's be honest, and I'm going to continue to say this. These two, though, are leaps and bounds above the rest.
Right now.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, right now.
I agree.
That goes with any. Like one fighter can lose, and then they may disappear. We've seen guys that were on the top of the food chain, and they'll fall off because confidence is key. And I cannot say that enough. Big John and I have been saying this for the longest time. Confidence is the thing that will get you through not just fights, but in life. You need to make sure that you are 100% confident in everything you do. Believe in yourself. Charles Oliveira believes in himself. Islam Makhachev believes in himself. These top guys in the top 5, top 8, top 10, they all believe in themselves. Gamrot tonight believed in himself. Dariush believed in himself. All of these guys, they step in that cage. They believe in themselves. It's what they do after that defines who they are and how great they can be.
How far they're going to go.
And I'm going to be honest, how far they're going to go.
Yeah.
John, I could sit up here and gloat and do all the other things, but look, the biggest thing is this. And I'm going to continue to say this over and over again, I'm sure. I said this about Khabib when he fought Justin Gaethje. I said, people don't realize the Dagestani, the Sambo style of wrestling, in which is learned from Khabib's dad. That style of what they do and what they are good at, it benefits them. We've seen countless Sambo guys come in. I just watched one last night go against one of the Ruotolo brothers, Cade. He didn't look that good. That guy got submitted by a jiu-jitsu guy.
Sure.
That's my point. My point is that, look, Sambo guys are great, but they're great with striking. They're not just 100% submission-wise. Cade Ruotolo is one of the greatest submission experts to ever come into the game. But Islam Makhachev is built different. Khabib is built different. Charles is a great jiu-jitsu guy, a great fighter, but the moments come when they're separated at certain points. His father left a legacy with the guys that he has helped build. And he and Khabib has been very clear about this, that Islam was always like his number one student outside of him. And they have been best friends since they were young kids. They love each other. They care for each other. They are all about helping each other grow. And you see, and I stayed a little bit and watched because I was at a friend's house watching the event. And I said, you could just see just that feeling that Khabib had when he gave Islam a hug, then it's just like, it's complete. It's not completely over yet, just so everyone understands. It's complete in what the dream was. But Khabib now has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders to do what his father did. Create your own champions. Islam may be champion because Khabib helped him get the rest of the way, but his dad built him. And I think that Khabib is going to take that on his shoulders now. You should expect that next generation of fighters to come like as if it was from his dad. And I get nothing but respect to Khabib, nothing but respect from Javier Mendez. That stand-up, Islam's stand-up never looked that good.
No.
It looked good.
Oh, it looked great.
It never looked that good.
That first left hand that he hit him with, man, it hurt him bad.
This show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. You guys, if you guys have been listening to us all week, don't miss out. Use our promo code WEIGHING. Don't miss out on using that at MyBookie.ag. Get a little extra spending cash by using our promo code WEIGHING. You guys would have made a ton of money from this weekend's fights had you listened to Big John and I. We were right on track, right on task, like we were supposed to be. And I'm telling you, MyBookie's already reached out to us and told us, hey, you guys are blowing up the scene at MyBookie.ag with your promo code WEIGHING. We're coming in hot with some good takes. I know I got called Bag Take Thompson quite a bit this week, but guess what? We were on track, Big John and I. We crushed it. We killed it. And hopefully we made you guys some money at mybookie.ag. Use that promo code WEIGHING. Everyone, again, a lot of people said that Charles was going to outstrike him out and knock him out. I would have probably agreed. But the way that I went about it though was, if Charles was concerned about the takedown, you understand more than anyone because you've been in the cage with the best fighters in the world,
his
all
ability
across
to be
the world.
effective in the stand-up.
Because that split second of hesitation,
Right.
is he shooting? When his arms move, when his elbows leave his ribs, that split second of hesitation against the world-class athlete that Islam Makhachev is all you need to get the takedown, to land the shot, to do whatever it is you need to do that he was thinking about doing. And that's all it took. Those shots that Charles took, it was because for a split second he was thinking about the takedown. When he moved and he flinched, when he fainted, was he going to try to take me down? Was he lowering his level? Was he trying to get to the underhooks? I got nothing but respect for Charles, and I've always had nothing but respect for Charles. I've loved Charles as a fighter since he was at 145. I've said this. I know people didn't hear it because all they heard was me being a homer to my boy. But I want, like I said, I want to remind people, I will continue to be a homer for everyone that trains out of AK for the life of AK's standing to be in a gym. And even if I've never met the guy or trained with the guy, I will be that way. Javier Mendez is I would say he's like a second father to me. Someone that kind of was there for me a lot. Now, look, we've separated, as fighting careers and trainers got to continue to build their athletes. We're not as close as we used to be. But when I see him, it's all nothing but love. Same thing with Bob Cook when he's my manager. He's been my manager since I was 19 years old. I've never had another manager. It's just one. Every time I see him, it's hugs. I love you. You're my guy. Like, that's the thing. And John, you've seen how I am with people, man. The people that I'm close with, this is how I am. And I care for them a lot. Care for Islam. Care for Podcast Dave, care for you. I get a little emotional sometimes, a little teary-eyed. But it's important to me to have people like this that I really care for, that I've grown up with. Luke Rockhold, when he fought Paulo Costa, same thing, man. I'm a fucking wreck when my boys are fighting. And I think that's what makes me who I am. I'm a wreck, man. I'm a wreck. It is a lot easier to watch or to fight your own fight when you're in there than it is to watch your friends fight. And if anyone tells you different, they're lying. Then maybe they're not as close to your being a friend to you as they said they are.
Well, this is why
This
is why we always say
clinch up.
Being that trainer is the worst position to be in, because it doesn't matter what you did. If the fighter goes out there and is doing great, yeah, it's great. But as soon as the fighter's not doing anything that you said and things are going bad, there's nothing you can do. You can try to snap them out of it, but there's nothing you can do. And you're just watching someone that you care about. I mean, you truly care about.
Yeah.
Go out and just take punishment, not be successful, and it's brutal. It's just a terrible experience.
I spent the last 8 maybe years of my career training with a majority of with Islam, Khabib, And then little Umar came along. I spent a majority, and then I realized how good they were. I spent the majority towards the end of my career training with them specifically. Now I had other guys, Thomas Dion. He was probably one of my main sparring partners. So good on the feet, so dynamic, just good Sancho takedown guy. But then you mix him with Khabib, you mix him with Islam, you mix him with other guys that Islam and Khabib had brought. A little Umar, I'd mess with him around a little bit, and spar with him. It's just you build a relationship with fighters that you train with, and I'm a ride or die kind of guy when it comes to my boys. And I don't know, I knew that he possessed all the threats that I've seen Charles break to at 145. Now Charles didn't break here. I said, if Islam's going to catch him, he's going to catch him with a couple things. The side choke being one of them, the Kimura being the other, and a potential leg lock. But to me, it was always the Kimura or the side choke. He gets to that position, whether he's in half guard, a full side control, it doesn't matter. He gets there, and it's a different type of squeeze. There's certain fighters that have that squeeze.
Oh,
It's just a different squeeze.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how good of a jiu-jitsu guy you are. Like I've said for countless, Khabib didn't have didn't have as much success against top level jiu-jitsu guys in training, but he still would grind on them and work them. But when it came to guys that got to positions he was able to escape, I'd never seen him get tapped by top level black belt. Never. I never seen him tap to that position to anybody in a top level black belt position. Islam, I had seen put them in jeopardy over and over and over again. Top level guys. I've seen Islam dominate top level guys, top level jiu-jitsu guys from the mount position, from side control, takedowns, foot sweeps, all of these things. So I knew that Charles was going to be in some trouble. And these guys were mainly bigger than him when Islam was training with them. So when you have guys that are bigger than you, that are top level jiu-jitsu players, and you're still able to work them around, move them around, sweep them, and put them in danger, make them escape, make them fight. I knew that Charles, with striking, was going to be a problem on the feet. But once it hit the ground, Islam was going to slow the pace down and really make him work out of that position.
Let's take a look at this and be honest about the whole thing as we're looking at it. You have to give so much credit to Islam for putting up with a lot of pressure because he was under a ton of pressure. Yes, he was the home favorite, but the amount of pressure that was on him, and it wasn't just the crowd. It is the pressure of Khabib, but it's really the pressure of Abdulmanap because it meant so much to him to make that man's dreams come to fruition, and that's what he did. And he was under an incredible amount of pressure in the fight, but he handled it really well, and you could see it throughout parts of the fight. Like he came out, he started off well, he landed that left hand, he looked really dominant as far as pressure in the top position. That pressure, he was stopping a lot of what Charles was trying to do. And you saw Charles just start to take and accept the guard and not worry about really looking for the submission, just trying to let time go by with it. The second round said a lot to me because there was a moment when Charles was starting to get into a groove, and you could see Islam actually back off of it, reset, come out, do his thing, and you go, that's what you're looking for when you're looking at a guy as far as fight IQ, fight maturity. He's got it. You can see it. And, the whole thing that you're talking about, people need to understand. Look, Khabib took over as the coach because of his father passing. And you're right. He's going to have to come up with his own stable. But he took it upon himself as these are my dad's guys, and I need to walk them through their careers like my dad was going to do. And that's why he's doing what he's doing. And look, we've seen him how many times in that corner. I can't think of many times that he hasn't walked away with that win as far as his guy getting the win. So he's obviously doing the right thing. He's spending the time. I don't know how the guy is still married because it's a different world as far as the way they do things because he's never home. And you just got to give it up to Islam Makhachev. We knew how good he was. You had talked to me forever about John. When you roll with him, He's got a different feel. It is just not something that you get from other guys. And coming from you, I knew. I said, well, we're going to see what happens. But he looked fantastic. It's not that Charles didn't come out ready to fight. He had good eyes. First time I think he's ever fought, after having the LASIK surgery, so he could actually see his opponent clearly. That would be a nice thing. Did it make a difference? Thought it might. Could have been that little thing, seeing things a little clearer. Islam won on the feet. He won in the wrestling. He won in the submission game. That's why he's the lightweight champion. And I love what Khabib set him up with, that we wanted to take the fight to Australia and all that stuff. Because that's what the UFC has already talked about. So it's not like this was something that was a surprise. But they're following that game plan. They're following the blueprint of what the UFC wants to do. I thought bringing, Alexander Volkanovski up there is great. He said the right thing. You're going to put your title, that lightweight title, on the line. I'll put my pound for pound on the line. They're already selling. It's a great fight. I would love to see it. And, whether it happens in Australia or somewhere else, I don't care. That's a great fight as it's coming up. And if that's his first defense, it's a hell of an opponent to go against.
That's not a great fight. He's going to get smashed.
Sorry. I would say that's going to be a hard fight for Volkanovski. Wrestling-wise, he usually out-wrestles people. He's not going to out-wrestle Islam.
He's not going to out-wrestle him. He'll hit him with the speed, so the hands might be a problem in the beginning.
Yes,
but as soon as Islam gets his hands on him, it's not going to be good for him. And we saw a little bit with the Brian Ortega. Submission-wise, he lacks. He lacks in the defense for the submissions, from the triangle to the guillotine to other options that were
I
available.
will let you, as this fight comes about, I'll take the seat of Volkanovski once again. I'll let you talk about your guy.
John. Oh, it's not my fault, man. I've been training with winners for a long time, so it's hard for me to shy away from them. I've been training with winners for a long time.
You don't want me to start bringing up some of the names from AKA, do you?
It's all right.
There's a lot that went in this direction. There's some that went in this direction, too.
It's true. This is very true, my friend. This is very true.
Everywhere, brother.
I mean, but look, John, the fight itself, I have to go back to what you said. There was, no matter what people think, there was a lot of pressure on him.
Oh, my God.
There was a lot of pressure on him to deliver. He did his full camp there, and I had talked about this last week. I said he was fully committed from, I think, end of June into July. He was stationed there. He didn't leave. Yeah. He stayed there for his full camp. Khabib, they came out to the Seattle Bellator event for some of the guys that were fighting on that card. They flew straight from there to Dubai for Islam. They were there every step of the way. He made sure, Khabib and his camp and Javier, they made sure that he had everything he needed at every step of the way.
Well, I think one of the things that you can actually take a look at. We'll talk about Bilal Muhammad and his fight, but when he was talking after his fight, he goes, "Hey, I've never worked so hard in my life. I got with these guys, and I mean, I was out there dying, but it's been the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me." Well, it's just showing you they have an attitude, they have a system, they have a way of doing things, and it's something that you've already experienced and you know about. Yep. So, look, it works obviously because these guys just keep winning.
Well, the standout's gotten better, the confidence is rising, and I want to point this out. The fact that he hadn't fought anybody because people didn't want to fight him. Let's not forget that.
No, that's true.
It wasn't that he didn't want to fight guys in the top 5. We've known this for the longest time.
He called out everybody.
Didn't want to fight him.
He called out everybody.
Didn't want to fight him. So the fact that he got in there, it was a huge spotlight for him, but he also didn't need to feel the nerves of, I'm doing this again. I'm fighting another top level guy. There's something to be said. Like every time you fight a top level guy, I've noticed that fighters start to kind of play it a little bit safe because they'll still be there. He didn't have that. He fought composed when he rocked him with the shot with the straight left in the first round.
Yeah.
And you said, oh, he didn't rush in. Yeah, he didn't rush in. He fought composed. He fought relaxed. But then when he dropped him, he jumped in and got right after him. He understood what was at stake. That's understanding that he didn't need to lay back. He didn't need to relax. There's a difference between fighters that fight like Dariush, who just never stop coming forward and take chances, risk after risk. And guys, they understand that when they rock them and they sit them down and they're able to jump on top of him and finish him, or they end up blowing their wad and then end up getting tired and then losing the fight. Islam had never really had to experience that because the top level guys didn't want to fight him. And over years of fighting top level guys, you learn that they're going to still be there if I hit them with my best shot. They're still going to be there. So they sometimes fight safe. Islam didn't have to fight safe. He fought very composed, but he fought to the level in which I know he possesses. And it was great to see because I've seen him in the room do it. I know I'm talking about practice. I get it. People were commenting in the comment section talking to me about practice. But you have to understand the feel is different. Luke Rockhold did an interview with the Schmo, and the Schmo and I, we love the Schmo, and the Schmo he does great work. I love his interviews. I love what he does. But Luke Rockhold did an interview with him. He's like, look, he was one of my main training partners, for a couple of my fights. He's like, I'm a 155 pounder. Here I am, a 185 pounder. And he's like, I have a hard time getting off the bottom. I have a hard time, standing with him at moments and times. And I have a hard time getting off the fence with him. That lets you know that a guy at 155, when he's fully hydrated, when Islam's fully hydrated and ready to go, he's going to be a bitch to deal with for the rest of everybody in that division. I mean, if I look at that division now, do I think Dustin Poirier has a chance? Absolutely. Do I think Michael Chandler has a chance? Yes. Do I think, Justin Gaethje has a chance? They all have chances. They all have a puncher's chance.
Puncher's chance.
Outside of that,
no one's chin.
They don't have a chance. The guy who had the biggest chance was Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, I believe
that's
so.
it. The submission threat to me concerned me a little bit because I knew that Islam was going to try to chase the submissions, and I was afraid that if he didn't get it, would he get reversed, put on bottom, and maybe the submission attempt went the reverse way. And I've always said this, is that Charles Oliveira with Khabib, like that scared me a little bit too because Khabib, he's so dominant, controlling his position, but he sometimes will he understands where he can get away with things with the Dustin thing. He rolled to his back, then came back up on top. Really, he fought it that way. It's very rare you see them jeopardize their position over submission for them. Like they'll fight the submission first and make sure they keep their position before they go chasing submissions. And Islam Makhachev is someone who is he understands the game overall. He understands what he needed to do to be successful, and he literally showed what he had tonight. That fighters don't want to fight. Like fighters will continue to probably. Now that he's a champion, no one's going to.
Everyone's going to want to fight him now because they have to, because he's got the title, and so he's not going to have to. No one's going to be running from him now. But
they're going to be running that cage when they get in there. They'll be running.
Be careful
what
you wish for.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. It's a different type. It's a different type of strength. It's a different type of foot sweeps, hip tosses. It's just different. I can't explain it. I've been through it. Rockhold's been through it. We've all experienced it in terms of in that AKA room. It couldn't happen to a better person. He's soft spoken. He's I sent him a text this week. He sent me back and just said, I appreciate the love and the support and all this other stuff. So I have to you got to be there with them. And man, John, I was fucking nervous. I was nervous. I was so nervous.
I texted Josh just before the fight. I said, man, how you doing? He goes, I'm so nervous.
I'm so nervous. That's horrible.
Right. It's okay.
But was the fight what you expected?
Yeah, it actually was. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was going to be a matter of how well did Charles Oliveira do on the feet against Makhachev to put him in bad positions, if he could, or was it that Makhachev's stand-up was, up to snuff with Charles to where he got to that body lock, and he got to the body lock multiple times. Always caused a problem for, Charles in that, because he was, obviously he had said, we are going to go to the ground. He wasn't afraid of going to the ground with Charles, and he showed why. Look at great base and great positioning stops every submission there is. You know that. There's no way of getting the submission unless the person gives you that space or that angle that you need to make that submission happen. He doesn't give it. And then when you don't give it, it's very difficult for you to make that if the guy is, stopping what you're doing. So I thought that as long as Islam was able to stay even or close to even on the feet, he was going to have the chance of getting the win against Charles. I thought Charles had to do very well on the feet to cause Islam to do the things that he normally doesn't do. Shoot from the outside. Do those things because now he's struggling in the fight. He never struggled at all. It was It was a workmanlike performance. It's what you expect out of guys that are the best, and he's the best right now.
Can we put his stand-up is garbage, or he's got a weak chin to rest now? Can we put that shit to rest?
Come on.
Is it over?
Yes. Come on. As far as anybody, and it's like, I know it's a weird way of looking at it. It's this whole slap fight thing. And you're watching these people in this slap fight thing. It's like, hey, you just put your hand in the right spot, you're going to knock that person out. Nobody is punch proof. Obviously, there are people that can take a better shot than other people. There are some, genetics behind it, and there is what you condition. The strength of your neck. All of those things can help create the situation that the shot that would knock somebody else out doesn't put you away. But nobody is punch proof. If you land the shot in the right place, people are going down or they're going out, and it's not something that they can help. What they can help is not being hit like that. But you're going to get hit. This is, the fight game, it's the one thing that we tell everyone, hey, you're going to get hit. Get comfortable with the fact it's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. You just don't want to be hit with that shot that puts you away. And look, he got hit the one time when he fought, Adriano Martins. That fight's in the past. This is why when people sit there and he's got a loss. Dude, do you realize how many ways there are to lose in MMA? I mean, it's so much more difficult to go through a career. And this is what made Khabib unbelievable, that he went 29-0. It's what we look at Yaroslav Amosov at 26-0 right now. The fact that he has that many wins without a loss is amazing, because there's so many. All it takes is to make one mistake that your opponent takes advantage of. You're done. So, no, he doesn't have a weak chin. He's got solid stand-up. It's not his strength, but it's definitely not a weakness. And we've seen fighters that are good fighters, that have a great one area. They have a great stand-up game, but their weakness is the ground. It's a weakness. And when they get to the ground, they're kind of like a turtle on their back. He doesn't have that. He is phenomenal when it comes to his wrestling and his submissions, and his stand-up is solid.
Yeah, I'm going to have to dip in to see, since his loss, the one loss that he has on his record, how many rounds has he lost? I could pretty much say probably none.
I don't think he's lost any.
Maybe to Saryukin, he maybe lost one, but I doubt it. I think he dominated that fight. Sure, there were some big scrambles in that fight.
It was a good fight. It was
a good
close.
Fight, but I think he won
30-27.
Each round was close, but I think he won 30-27.
Yeah.
And he had staff that week. He had he was sick, either sick or he had staff that week. I think he was sick. He was on antibiotics that week, so that wasn't definitely
Dave, look it up.
Performances, and still came away with a good win. I want to lay all this to rest, man. He doesn't deserve a title shot. He doesn't deserve a title shot. He hasn't beat anybody in the top 10.
Oh, come on.
I read the
I
comments,
said he didn't
man.
fight. He hasn't fought anybody that's, that name fighter like Charles, and he hadn't. Now he has.
He hadn't.
And he looked fantastic.
He skipped all the ones that had names and went right to the number one name.
There you go.
And when people were commenting to me that just, he's going to get submitted. Like, Charles is the best submission guy in the game. And I just was continuing to say, it just isn't the same, John. It's not so much the submission skill, okay, in the terms of the transition. It's with Charles, he'll catch you in with the guillotine. He'll catch you with the triangle, all of those things. With Islam, it's about getting to a position, knowing where you're dangerous. When I said it, forcing you in the direction which I know there is no danger.
Yeah.
What was the score? 30-27.
One judge who's he always gives me the bad scores. One judge had it for one round for Saruki, and the other two gave it 30-27 for Makhachev.
Yeah. And he was sick that day. So, he was sick, and he was on antibiotics. I just look at how Islam, and same thing with Khabib, is they force you into the position, top level jiu-jitsu guys, they force you into that position in which they want you to go, which means that they already know steps 2, 3, and 4. And when I push you that way, I already know where I'm attacking you here if you do this, attacking you here if you do this. Take a look at how Gordon Ryan is on the ground.
Yep.
He knows already 2 and 3 steps ahead against the top level jiu-jitsu players in the world. The best. He already knows 2 and 3 steps ahead. You want to know why? Because he's just spent countless times figuring out when they go here, I go here. When they go here, I go here. He has spent that time on the mat, just not going hard, just drilling it over and over. And when I talked to Hoffa and Guillermo Mendez, I asked them, how are you guys so good in these type of situations? They're like, all we do is drill. We don't train super hard. Don't get me wrong. They're like, we go hard all the time. They're like, but it's not like we got to do 10 rounds every day. We got to do 5 rounds every day. No, we drill at a pace consistent with a fight pace or like a competition pace. And we drill that way. When that person goes there, that person goes there. Islam Makhachev and a lot of they changed my outlook on how I did my training as I got older, because they don't go fast. They don't go hard, like really heavy or hard. They just work through the motions of it all, so it becomes second nature. If you watch Floyd Mayweather when he's in his fight camps, a lot of what he does is not hard and fast. I'm sure there's moments that we don't get on film where it's hard and fast. Sure. But if you watch him do the sit-up drills, punch, sit-up drills, you see him do the mitts, it's all flow drills, it's repetition, it's over and over and over. It's about cleaning up your technique, staying loyal to your defense, all of those things. Floyd Mayweather, he did a lot of stuff that was super slow, just bop, bop, bop. Just like little stuff. It was muscle repetition. Yeah. It was muscle repetition, building the muscle endurance, getting the cardio up. That's a lot of what they do. They have nothing else to do. They've made it very clear in their camps and how they train. I go home, they wake up, they eat, they sleep, they train, they eat, they sleep, they train. It's the same thing over and over. They're not going to the nightclubs like
well, they got a couple other things in there. They eat, they sleep, they train, they eat, they play tackle basketball, they train.
Yeah, tackle soccer, they play soccer. But it's it's something to admire. It's something to admire because when you have a close group of friends that you can play soccer with, close group of friends you can play football with. As Americans, we've gotten away from things like that. It's very rare you see a group of, whether it's men or women, get together and say, hey, let's go play soccer together in a group. And it's very rare you see that out these days, especially here in California. It's very rare you see people out there in groups playing together or playing soccer together, playing basketball together. It's just not common anymore. Yeah. And so they still have that. And I think that's what makes them close. That's what makes them stay on track. Anyways,
they're
great
family.
Performance.
They act like family.
Yes. Yeah, they do act like family. So. You know, and don't get me wrong, families still have bitters. They still get after each other every once in a while. I've seen some arguments. They get after it, but have you ever seen two brothers or two twin brothers arguing, and someone tries to step in, and that other person that steps in gets their ass
trouble.
kicked?
Yeah,
just leave them alone. Leave them alone. Oh, the two brothers are fighting again. Yeah, just stay away from them. No, they should stop. Stay away from them.
Don't be the referee. Bad idea.
Stay away from them.
All right, let's talk about
overall good fight.
Aljamain Sterling goes in there, takes on TJ Dillashaw. TJ's shoulder pops out of place. He said that he talked to the referee, Mark Goddard, about it in the back. He knew it was going to happen. You know, I'm being honest. I look at this whole thing, and I understand TJ trying to stay with the fight. But if you're the UFC, you're not too happy. No. You're not too happy. You got an athlete that knew he had a problem. And instead of pulling out of the fight and letting somebody else be put in there that would have, possibly had a better fight, and I'm taking nothing away from TJ, but you can't take anything away from Aljamain. Aljo did nothing wrong. He did his job. But do you look at it if you're the UFC? Are you happy with TJ Dillashaw right now?
I mean, it depends. Did he let me know? Did he tell me, like, hey, my shoulder's, been slipping out and popping out, but you know what, I'm going to give this a go? And if you're the UFC, they still got the pay-per-view buys off of it. So, yeah. I mean, sure, they're upset that maybe that the
fight didn't turn out the way they wanted.
That the fight didn't go, it wasn't as exciting, or maybe it wasn't as back and forth as it could have been.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, their deal with ESPN is rock solid. They're extremely, I'm sure this pay-per-view, I would say this pay-per-view did over 1 million. I think it did. I mean, that's a lot considering the time frame that we're in with pay-per-view buys these days. But I think it did over 1 million. It was a stacked card. It was a big one. The prelims were good. Yeah. So who knows, man? Who knows?
When you're Aljamain Sterling, you look at this one, and I got to say, hey, he went out. He did his job. He was in phenomenal condition. You could see it. He looked great, and it's one of those, you hear his corner, no mercy, and I'm like, no. When you step in that cage, there is no mercy, and and you're watching TJ struggle, and it was once he realized that he's got a bad shoulder, and it really comes down to this. Although TJ had talked to Mark Goddard in the back, and then you saw the arm pop out. Okay, that's one. He goes back to the corner. They pop it back in. He has the doctor look at it. He comes back out. He doesn't use the arm once. Not once. Doesn't throw anything with it. And he goes back down, and it's popped again. That's the end of the fight. It's over.
Yeah.
Don't let him take that abuse. I know what Mark was doing, and he told him, hey, I'll let you go as far as I can. I'll let you try to get out of those. When a guy can't get himself up because he can't post an arm, fight's over. He's fighting too good. He's fighting the best guy out there in that weight class. He's fighting too good of an individual who can hurt him too badly, too quickly, to let him go off anymore in that fight.
I think that Aljo did exactly what he was supposed to do.
He did.
We talked in the midweek show. I said he needs to press the action, get right in his face, and threaten those takedowns right away.
Yep. That's
exactly what he did. And when he got to that top position, I think whether TJ's arm was good or not, his hip control, his pressure when he grapevine and got to that position, just seemed like even if TJ had both arms, you still got to hit your hips free. He had just nowhere to go, and it was a dominant performance by Aljo. And I mean, he showed why he's the champion right now. And I heard TJ had said some stuff, against Aljo, basically saying like, you get tired as the fight goes on. Well, his last fight, he didn't get tired.
No.
And in this fight, he looked fantastic.
He got tired in that first Petr Yan fight because he went balls to the wall early. He was all over the place. And that was his first title fight. And sometimes you get that adrenaline dump. But when he came back in the second fight, never had any problem at all with the fourth and fifth round. So you're looking and going, I wouldn't count on him getting tired in those rounds.
Yeah, if I'm fighting him next, or even maybe after that, whatever it is, I'm not counting on his conditioning being a factor.
No.
He's going to be good. His conditioning will be on point. He's shaping up he's getting better on the stand-up. He's really gaining his confidence on his takedowns, his transitions to the back and side control and half guard positioning. He's becoming a really, really good fighter. Not that he never wasn't before. Not that he wasn't before. It's just now consistently having to prove it is going to really let everyone know how good he is. He's a fantastic fighter. I've always thought, just so we're clear, I've always thought he was a fantastic fighter. Okay. That I never thought that he wasn't. He's always been a great fighter. He's always been really good.
We said that before the fight.
We've said that before. I know he's mad at us or me specifically about some stuff, but mine was specifically about something else, not about his technique and his ability to be a true fighter. He's a really good fighter. Yeah. Great job by him. I hope to see that. Hopefully we'll see that TJ get back. We'll see that fight again. But we'll see. There's so many other guys that are coming up. I mean, Sean O'Malley supposed to be next. We'll see.
That's not a good idea.
I guess we will see.
That's not a good idea.
All right, next fight.
Let's talk about Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley against Petr Yan. This thing went off. What was it that you thought made it to where Sean O'Malley deserved the win?
I didn't say that, by the way.
Yeah, well.
Look, I think I don't know what they were saying. Only thing I can go based off of is that they mixed up the cards. And John, we've been part of this game for a long time.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I know 3 occasions.
I've seen it.
I've known 3 occasions where it's been messed up, and they behind the scenes have said we wrote the wrong name on the cards, and they obviously is the commission doesn't go back because they don't want to feel like they're idiots. They don't go back and fix it. And I've been in the commission meetings, and they are the most proud son of a bitches in the world. They just they'll ride it all the way out and just fuck up people's careers that way. Yeah. And in this situation, Sean O'Malley didn't deserve the win. I'm going to say that. But
he fought great.
But I thought, honestly, Petr Yan was going to walk through him. And I know I had Sean O'Malley potentially getting the win when it came to our midweek show. I said, I could see him sticking a move and getting the win. But I thought he fucking fought his ass off. And John, what did I text you? One of the texts I sent you, I said, he ain't no bitch.
No,
I said, this guy came to fucking fight.
Yep.
Sean O'Malley came to fight. Sean O'Malley is a dog. He is someone that round. He was in there. He was in there the whole time, just letting Petr Yan know, you're not going to bully me around. You're not going to hit me with big shots and think I'm going to be afraid of you. You're not going to crack me with this and hit me with kick my leg and I think I'm scared of your leg kicks. No, I'm coming after you. I'm not afraid of your takedowns. Not afraid of this. Sean O'Malley showed me a ton in this fight. I've been a Sean O'Malley fan, but I mean, if it rose my level to him, this really did raise my level on how much I love watching him fight. This really, honestly, John, he lost no ground. If anything, he went from being ranked. I don't even know where he's ranked. Dave, can you pull that up? Wherever he's ranked, I think he was 12. Where was he ranked?
11.
11. So he was ranked 11.
Yan was number 1.
It's sad because they're not going to bump him up probably at all, but they should. Because can you make that bigger, Dave? He's probably better than Pedro. I think he's probably better than Dom right now.
He was beating Pedro. Let's be honest. He was beating Pedro. Ended up being a no contest.
He's probably better than Dom right now. Not the Dom of the past, but the Dom now. He's probably better than Dom now. I'd love to see him and Marlon Vera get after it again against Chito. Him and Chito do it again, but then that's not fair to Chito because Chito beat him legitly.
Yep.
So I could see that, hey. But let's be honest. How about him and Corey Sandhagen?
I would love to see that.
He showed me a lot. He showed me a lot tonight. He showed me that he's got it. He's not the guy that's on TikTok fucking just blowing sunshine up everyone's ass. He's the guy that really is a fighter. He's a true fighter. I think there was a lot of questions answered tonight, John. There's been that I think I myself had questions, but I'm sure there's other fighters, other fans had questions. Is he just the guy with the pink hair and the cornrows and and all the tattoos, looking the part? No. He's a fucking fighter. He can fight.
Yeah.
He's a fighter. There's no quitting him. He's a dog. He'll take all challenges once you pay him, which he's brilliant at. By the way, I can't say anything bad about him. I can't say one thing bad about him. The guy is doing everything right. Keep doing you, Sean. Keep doing you.
Look, going into the fight, I wanted Sean to win. I was rooting for Sean. I don't think he won the fight, though. I'm just being honest. When I was watching the fight, I had it 29-28 for Yan, and I was like, but goddamn, you fought really well at times. And the one thing that I really saw, and I would love to be able to talk to him about it, is he was breathing hard. Yeah. And it was almost like, he's good, but, he was jumping up so far in fighting Petr Yan that it was almost like he was like getting a little bit of an adrenaline dump because, this guy's, and I got to stay with him. And he was just doing just a little too much as far as trying to, keep himself, good. He got hit some shots. He took them well. He hit Yan some. That second round, I want to say, God damn, it was good because he hurt Yan on the feet. And then Yan came back and hurt him. And there was a lot going on with the fight. But it was the first time I really saw Sean blowing air out of his mouth. You could see him. He was taking gulps of air and blowing it out. And I was like, that's not good. It's not that he's not in shape. I know he's in shape. So I know that it's emotion, it's adrenaline, it's all those things that are part of what's going on right now with him. And
that's the person in front of you fucking making you nervous.
Absolutely.
That's what it is, John.
And that's part of, growing as a fighter and stepping up into those, you've got to learn how to deal with that pressure and how to deal with relaxing yourself down. And it just comes with time. He's a young fighter. I watched him when he, I was there when he came out in the Dana White's, first year of the Dana White series, and I watched him fight. I said, this kid can fight, man. This kid's good.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed him ever since. I would like to see that fight again. I would love to see those guys fight again. I thought I had Sean win in the third round with the knee. I thought the knee hurt Yan. It cut him good. It was the best blow of the round. Yan got the takedown and stuff, but I thought Sean had done enough to win that third round. But I didn't think he'd won the first, second. I thought he had to come out and do a lot more in the third to get the win. But the judges gave it to him. So good job for you, Sean O'Malley. Congratulations. Moving on. I don't think he's ready for Aljamain Sterling yet, though. I don't think that's a smart fight for him to take at this time.
But if you're Dana White, what do you do?
If I'm Dana White, I make the fight.
Dana White came out and said,
I make the
Dana
fight.
White came out and said he's fighting.
If I'm Dana White, I
whoever
make
wins
the
this
fight. I do. I'm not saying I do. But if I'm Sean, I want another fight first. And I want it against someone that I think is someone that can push me a little bit, but I can really have those moments again. And there's some guys up there that we'll see where he ends up in the rankings. Like I said, he's not going to go to number one. The real question is, how far is Petr Yan going to fall from it?
Well, my question is, do you have Merab, who is Sterling's friend, fight Petr Yan next? And then so you have Merab fight Petr Yan, and then you have...
Do you have Merab fight Petr Yan, or do you have Merab fight Sean O'Malley?
No, I have Merab fight Petr Yan, and then I have Sean O'Malley fight Corey Sandhagen. Because if
would-
anyone deserves a title shot, it's Corey Sandhagen.
I would love to see that Corey Sandhagen. Just the style-wise, that would be a great fight.
So you put him and Sean together for a fun fight. You put Merab versus Petr together because Merab is mainly wrestling base.
Yeah.
You watch him try to push on the pressure and put on the pace. I think you also make that a main event.
Oh, yeah.
And you make that a main event, so you get 5 rounds of them getting after it. Merab doesn't get tired. Petr will tend to slow down on that 4th and 5th, but he's still very explosive and very good at what he does.
Yeah.
So he's still dangerous in that 4th and 5th. So I'd like to see that fight. Plus, there's a little story there.
Oh, there's a lot of story
Petr Yan
there.
with Merab, and then you're going to say that Sean O'Malley's going to jump up quite a bit. But if Corey beats Sean pretty convincingly, that puts him in number 1 spot to fight Sterling. And then you have Merab,
which is a
sitting
rematch.
there.
It'd be a rematch you'd want to see.
Yeah, but because Merab's already said, I'm not fighting Sterling. Well, how long are you going to wait? How long are you going to wait until your boy loses the title? That's the other thing.
Look, I appreciate the fact of the relationship that Merab and Aljo have and the way they look at each other. They've said, we're not going to fight. I don't think that Aljo is going to be able to stay. Just looking at the size of him compared to TJ, he looked way bigger than TJ. Just as they were standing there. Huh?
He looked enormous.
Fucking unbelievable. And to make that 135, look, he's never missed weight, so I'm never going to ever say anything, but that's, it might be there comes that time when he decides, I'm going to make that leap up to featherweight, and that would be Merab's time, but they know what they're doing. I appreciate the fact that those are guys that they respect each other and say, nope, that's something that will not happen, and that's okay with me.
Interesting. I mean, I like the way that we broke it out, though. If you have Merab versus Petr, and then you've got Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley, and then you just kind of leave Cheeto's in the mix there somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe you have Cheeto next in line for the title shot, just to be honest. If Sterling's ready to turn around right away.
Absolutely.
Because Sterling didn't take any damage. No. So you have Cheeto and him right away in that fight.
Yep.
That'd be a great fight.
That would be.
Yep.
Look at that.
All right, next
We're
fight.
doing it for the matchmakers again.
Nah.
We had Beneil Dariush
Dave,
against. What's that?
Dave keeps going to the Dana White thing. What's that?
Sorry, I was I know I was pausing my screen, but I was trying to catch any subtitles on or closed captions on the post-fight presser just to see if there's anything that's worth talking about. He said TJ never told him about the injury, so just FYI.
That's kind of what I.
See, if I'm Dana White, I'm a little upset about that. Like John was saying, I'm a little upset. If you told me and I was still willing to go ahead with it, then that's on me.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, next fight.
All right, Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. Man, if you're Beneil Dariush, you're sitting there saying, what more do you want from me? Because this guy has fought everybody that they've put in front of him. He is on now an 8-fight win streak. That was a great performance. He lost the first round, came out second round. Well, one judge had him losing. I think 2 judges had him winning all the rounds. But he definitely took the second and third round. He made a good fighter in the end look average. It's not that Mateus is a bad fighter. The one thing that was driving me crazy in the first round is, Beneil, don't freaking just openly throw kicks to the body against a guy that's a wrestler that wants to take you down. Hide it behind your hands or put the goddamn kick up high or low, but don't put it, in that mid-range. And he put it in the mid-range several times. I'm like, what are you doing, right? But I love Beneil. I've known him for a long time. And, man, he put on a great performance. He showed that he is a dog. He's a dog, dude. People do not give this guy enough credit.
John, when guys are used to throwing the kicks to the body and the flexibility in which he has, I was very surprised. He's so flexible enough to get his legs hiked up and was able to kick out. He limp-legged out a bunch of times. I think he felt comfortable in those positions. Earlier when he wasn't sweaty, it wasn't as effective. But in that second and third round, he was able to get away with it a couple times. But why fight that hard? Why put yourself in a position to have to fight that hard to get your leg back? I don't understand that. I get what you're saying. Yeah. I agree. Stop kicking to the body, especially early when you're still dry. But as he got sweatier, it became harder and harder for Gamrot to actually get the takedown or keep the leg control. Great job by Dariush. If you guys would have followed us at mybookie.ag, use our promo code weighing in, you guys would have saw last week we said if I'm going to bet on someone, because Dariush was the underdog,
big time
in this fight,
big time.
And so I would have bet on Dariush, and even Sean O'Malley was the underdog. If you guys would have played our options, you would end up winning. If you would have actually taken my advice, not John's, you would have picked Islam by submission. You would have made a lot of money. You would have made a lot of money. So, Josh, Mr. Thompson, Bad Take Thompsons, we're here, man. We're here giving you guys some great advice. So keep listening up. This fight was a great fight. I expected this fight, and a lot of people gave me a hard time about the Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady fight, saying it's going to be a snooze fest. 2 guys just want to fucking hump each other. This fight was fucking great. But the Dariush fight, he's that guy. What else does he have to do? John, the only thing he's got to do, though, he's got to beat a Michael Chandler, or he's got to beat a Dustin Poirier or Justin Gaethje.
But they're not giving him
one
to
of
him.
those 3 guys. I know.
This is a guy.
Look, I've been
8-fight win streak, and he keeps dropping in the ranks.
I've been there.
My God, he's ranked what, number 6 now? He was at 3. Yeah. Now he's 6, and he's only winning.
No, I've been there, man.
I feel for the man.
I've been in these conversations with the UFC, like when I came over from Strikeforce. It was before Pettis was champion. I'll take Pettis. No, we don't want you to give Pettis. Okay, I'll take Cowboy. No, not Cowboy. Then Nate loses to Benson for the title, and okay, we'll give you Nate. I'm like, fuck, all right, I'll take Nate. You want to fight the guys that motivate you, the ones that, to me, it was Pettis and it was Cowboy, because everyone had told me for all these years that they would fucking knock me out and beat me up, and that was me. With Dariush, he'll fucking fight anybody. He don't care.
Nope.
But these other guys, like Islam, ran into that problem where certain guys don't want to fight you because you can't figure you out. You don't have a standard style. Dariush does not have a standard style.
No, he does
got
not.
taken down. He rolled through for the knee bar 3 or 4 times. It's like, what are you doing? And then
Very
it worked.
nice.
And I'm like,
Exactly.
do what you're doing. I was like,
Yeah.
do what you're doing. I was like, holy shit. He made it work. He was so good at that technique. I was like, what are you doing? Oh shit. He's doing it.
He created chaos.
It was great. Yeah, and that's what he does, though, John. He does that better than almost any other fighter that I've ever seen fight. That chaotic scramble and movement and everything he did is like he's 100% okay with hitting a Granby roll. Doesn't work. Okay, let me just throw my leg over your body and scissor over you. And it was like, what the hell are you doing? But it worked to his advantage. It got him to an advantageous position to where I had to spell that out in my head as I said it. Got him to that. It got him to those positions where he felt comfortable enough to start defending the wrist control, the hands, getting his elbows inside. Yeah. He fought his ass off, and it's hard. I'm going to be honest. It's very hard to be ranked where he's ranked and then fight someone like Gamrot, who is a tough fighter, and understand that you lost the first round. He had to have known that it was a close round, but he probably lost it. Going back to the corner going, shit, everything I've been working for is fucking slipping away. Fuck. People don't take that into consideration enough. You're sitting in your corner. I'm fighting a guy who's ranked like lower than me, higher, whatever it is, and here I am now down 0-1. Yeah, here I am now ranked, and here I am now down 1 round. I have 2 rounds left to win this fucking fight. He's just thinking his whole career is done. That's all he's thinking. Probably thinking like, I need to win this next round. If I don't win this next round, this shit's over. It's over. Yep. And that's a mindset that not a lot of fighters have. Dariush, man, you are an animal. What? Yep. I gotta give you love. I gotta give you respect. That's one of the toughest tasks to do. To get up off that stool and say, I lost the first round to a guy who I know is ranked, number 8 or whatever it is, and I'm ranked lower than him. I'm ranked higher than him. I'm better than him, but I just lost the first round. I only got 2 more rounds to get this back, and he went out there and did it. That's a lot mentally for him to do.
He did it impressively.
He looked good.
Yeah, he looked really good. So big win for him. Chikagian goes against Manu Farot. It was a good fight. It almost got to the point where it seemed to me it was, I hate to say this, but it was like a karate match. You're playing tag. There was a couple of shots in there. But
I was a sparring match.
Yeah, sparring match. Yeah. Perfect analogy of it.
It was like a sparring match. It was like 2 friends just tut, tut, tut.
Yeah. No one seemed to really get after it with it.
No, it was almost like they were like, you go, I go, you go, I go. And then, yours didn't hit me. Yours didn't hurt me. It was, John, I got to be honest, man. I got up halfway through the second round. I went and got a beer. It was 12:30. It was 11:15 or whatever it was. I'm like, all right, I got to get something to drink, man. I was like this. I was like, I wanted to see more because I know Chikagian's so much more dynamic. The jab wasn't having an effect.
Nope.
She wasn't able to hit the reach. The push kick wasn't having the same type of effect as it normally does against other fighters that she's competed against. I think people were starting to figure her out. Now, I can't take anything away from Farot. She fought a good fight. She fought very nice in terms of she was sticking, moving, always staying outside of directly in front of her.
Yeah.
Creating the little angles makes a big difference when you're fighting someone who has a good jab and a good push kick. If you're always creating a little angle, they're hesitant to throw it.
True.
Good stuff. Good win. Good win.
Nice win for her.
Moving on.
But let's go to what fight was a really good fight. Bilal Muhammad against Sean Brady. Going into this, both guys have really good grappling pedigrees, good wrestling for Bilal. Sean Brady's a stud on the ground, super strong, good stand up. But goddamn, Bilal Muhammad looked as good as I've ever seen him in the cage. He fought a beautiful fight. He showed what smart pressure is. He put pressure on Brady. He made Brady work. He landed good counter strikes at times. He led the dance most of the time in when that striking was going to be engaged. And when he hurt him, he went after him and didn't let him off. It was a hell of a performance by Bilal. The best fight I've ever seen him have. And he's had some good ones, like the whole Luque fight was a great fight. This one, best performance he's ever had.
Yeah, the Vicente Luque fight with me it was a lot of sticking and moving, almost on his back foot, kind of running. Mm-hmm. This fight, he stood his ground a little bit. He tried to become the hammer versus the nail. And then on top of it, he still became a little bit, he kind of stepped back and he let Sean kind of come forward a little bit, but just to open up on some counter striking. He did a great job of taking advantage of wherever the fight went. The Vicente Luque fight, Vicente Luque seemed like he just walked him down and made him fight defensively the whole time, and he had success that way. But in this fight, he came out and put Sean Brady on his back foot. I had Sean Brady maybe slightly inking out the first. It was
he got
close.
The first. I think he got the first. He just landed. You think Sean
got the first?
Yeah, he got the first.
But
it was close.
They were cleaner. It was close. I mean, it could have went either way.
At the end of the first, I looked at it and said, hey, you got to give Brady that round. But Bilal is fighting a better fight right now, is the way I was looking at it. And it was, as soon as you saw Brady come out and then he tried for the takedown and Bilal stuffed it quick. And then he went back to the stand-up and then he tried it again and he stuffed it quick and you went, that's not good. And then he got hurt several times in that round. And when he got hurt that second time, he definitely, was in trouble. I'm not sure, I'm not going to sit there and say it was a horrible stoppage. It wasn't horrible, but you got to let a guy go. Sometimes, as the referee, you're sitting there looking, I don't want him to get hurt. This is his profession. This is his job. He didn't go down. Was he hurt? He was definitely hurt. But you gotta let him. You gotta let him swim in those deep waters, and that was deep waters that he was in. But you gotta let him go at certain times. I was a little bit. In the end, people are going to be able to say it's a little early.
Yeah, the reason why I think they're going to say it was a little bit early, because as soon as the ref stopped it, Sean goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And as soon as that happens, and he wasn't wobbly at all, and don't get me wrong, he was hurt.
He was
some
hurt.
of those exchanges,
No doubt he was hurt.
But you've got to let him at least go down to one knee. You've got to let him at least get turn sideways against the fence.
Yep.
That didn't happen.
Show that he's not
so
fighting.
Like you said, there's always going to have that early stoppage in the people's brains, in their mind. Also, too, he was undefeated.
Yep.
You just took away his O, and don't get me wrong, maybe it would have went anyways.
No, Bilal took away his O.
To me, Sean had moments in that fight.
He did.
Sean took away his O. No, I'm gonna say I'm gonna blame the ref. It's easier. I think that Sean had some great moments. I want Sean, when I was watching him fight, John, I want him to believe in his stand up a little bit more.
Yeah.
He was the faster fighter.
Well,
he was landing, but he was only throwing twos though.
This is the point, Josh, and you know it. When you have a guy, Sean Brady has the cleaner, more technical stand up than Bilal. He does. Mm-hmm. But Bilal put a pressure on him that Brady was uncomfortable with. And he never took back that area as far as, I'm the one that's going to be leading this. I'm the one that's going to decide where we engage. Bilal was the guy always saying, nope, it's going to be me. And he made that stick, and it caused Brady to not be comfortable in the fight at times. And that was the difference, in my opinion. It's a learning experience, and it's something that he will learn from, but you know that you've gone, and even if it's just in sparring, you spar with someone and you can just dominate. Then all of a sudden you spar with another guy, and it's like they can both be good fighters, but one puts a different kind of pressure on you, takes different angles, and creates an entirely different problem for you that it's much more difficult for you to deal with and to be effective with. And I think that's what I saw with Bilal, going against Brady tonight. He just created problems for him.
Yeah, that constant pressure will cause problems. With Sean, though, he just got to believe a little bit more in his stand-up. He's got it.
He does.
He was landing clean, hard shots with
that
the
left
jab
hook.
and the right hand.
Dude, he landed that left hook multiple times.
Multiple times.
That beard that Muhammad has, dude, it stood up firm.
Yes, it did. But who I was listening to the most, though, in that commentary was Paul Felder. Yeah. Because Paul's trained with him. Paul knows him. Paul understood that. Paul goes, man, obviously you can hear Paul in Paul's voice. This is what he needs. He needs to be in a dog fight. He hasn't had to be in one. All the guys that he has fought, he's been able to either dominate or sure, it's been a close fight, but he was able to control the positioning, able to get the takedowns. In this fight, he wasn't able to get close to a takedown. He didn't sniff a takedown. And then on the feet, he was landing the cleaner, harder shots. But when a fighter has in their mind that I'm going to go out there and take him down, and then I don't get close to a takedown, now the panic on the feet starts to happen. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened with Sean Brady. No. I'm just saying that outside of the 2-punch combination, there wasn't a 3 and a 4. Sean Brady's got great stand-up, and it showed tonight. He was landing clean, hard shots. But in camp, you could tell that he wasn't really prepared for the 3, 4, and 5 and 6-punch combinations because they weren't coming off clean. Yeah. He wasn't throwing 3s and 4s. He was throwing the hard 1-2, but there was no follow-up. And he's got it in him. I've seen him. He's got it in him. And he threw it a couple times, but it wasn't it wasn't at the right time. And you know that fighting's all about timing and confidence, and just everything's got to be on track for it to work. Sean's got it. He's going to work his way back. I have no doubt about that. He's got all the ability. People are underestimating. People are still. I remember when this fight was when Sean Brady goes, "Hey," Bilal said, "Who do you want me to fight next?" And I put in Sean Brady's name, and everyone's like, "Oh, fucking boring ass fight." I don't want to say that fucking fight was great.
That was
awesome. A great fight by both guys. Yep. Bilal Muhammad looked fucking fantastic, and Sean Brady. I mean, if anything, this is a learning lesson for him. It's a learning lesson that guys like Bilal are around. Yeah, it's a learning lesson for him. I want to see how he's going to come back. He's a stud, man. He's a future. I think he'll definitely make a good run towards the title. Obviously, I can't say whether he's going to win the title or not, but I think he's going to make a good run back towards the title. take our loss, learn from it, come back, get rid of the O. That's how it goes. This is life, my friend. Life.
That is it.
Next.
Kai Borhalo versus Mahmoud Muradov. I'll tell you, Muradov, and I looked at this fight and I thought, what's that?
Borhalo,
but I looked at this fight
and
I thought it was going to be a competitive, because I remember Muradov being a very good stand-up fighter, just basically boxing and stuff. And the real question was, could Borhalo get the fight to the ground, use jiu-jitsu, and keep the fight there? I really like how Borhalo. He is a good fighter everywhere. He's not a great stand-up fighter, but definitely proficient, definitely has his moments, definitely has his things that he does well. But he was always looking to get the fight to the ground. And man, I'll tell you what, the reversals that he pulled off by just snatching the neck and putting Muradov into a problematic area as far as his neck was getting squeezed, and he ended up thinking that he could just sit there and hold it. No, I can't. And he was consistently giving up position to release the pressure that Borhalo was creating. And that was the big difference in this fight. His ability to not get the takedown the way he wanted, but being able to snatch the neck and turn the position, get a reversal on it, and do work. I thought this was a big win for Borhalo. He's really proving himself to be a really good fighter, a great addition to the middleweights.
Jake Shields was never the best stand-up guy.
Oh, my God.
We all know that.
He used to scare the hell out of me.
But Jake Shields was never the best jiu-jitsu guy. But
boy,
his jiu-jitsu was fucking... He could snatch a neck and then arm and guillotine. He could get to your back. He could mount you. He could do all of those things. I had seen him countless times against top-level jiu-jitsu players, black belt jiu-jitsu players, okay? I've seen him against top-level jiu-jitsu players. Hook sweep, elevate sweep, whatever you want to call it. Make transitions, get on the front headlock and sweep him over that way. Top-level guys that were bigger than him, make him look like they were white belts. All I saw was Borhalo has one or two good moves from that front headlock, whether it's getting the guillotine or whether it's hook sweeping you. Those two positions, he attacked it every chance he got because he understood that this is how I get to the top position every single time. When you have a guy who's that tall, that long, he seems kind of lanky for the weight class. That elevation, that elevator sweep, it works real well because you're posting off that foot and able to hip up and get your hips higher than the other person and get to the top position. It worked perfectly, and he just hit that thing over and over again until he was on top and putting in work. And on the feet, he was just dangerous. On the feet, he's good. I had it a 50-50 fight on the feet. Borhalo maybe the slight advantage, but it was a good fight. It was a fun fight to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it was back and forth. It had a lot going on. There was all kinds of things going on with the referee. Dan Eddie was consistently trying to tell Muradov to keep your fingers out of his eyes. All the kinds of things were going on. But it was a good contest between the two, and it was clear in my mind that Borhalo won the fight. So really a good fight. Nikita Krylov versus Volk Ozdemir. My God, what a start of the first two rounds were just, man, they went at it. And Nikita was in trouble in that first round. Volkan was going after him, and then he kind of got it back a little bit. And then in the second, kind of turned the corner on it, instead of Volkan going after him. And then he just got tired. He got tired from that pace. There was a fast pace throughout this for light heavyweights. These guys were going. And that's a lot of movement. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of some of the exchanges and the grappling that was going on. There was a lot of getting up off of the canvas by Volkan at times. It was an enjoyable fight. It was fun to watch.
As a fighter, you have to know what your gas tank limits are and don't exceed those, or at least find ways to fight. To recover. And Ozdemir came out so reckless in that first round. Don't get me wrong. As a fan, I'm sitting on the side going,
"Loved it.
Yes, this is great. This is wonderful. I love it." But at the end of the day, it cost you the fight.
Yep.
You did too much, too fast. I thought you obviously had great moments in the first round. Had Nikita on on stilts, wobbly, sat him down, all that stuff. Great fight in the first round. Second round, you definitely slowed down. Still a good fight in the second, but you were losing. And then as the fight went on, it just was too much for you to keep coming back from, and you just had no gas. You have to know what your limits are, and you have to know when to rest, when not to rest. And we talk about fight IQ all the time because in situations like this, it's important.
Yeah.
If you can't dictate and control your fighter. Like Nikita's not one of those fighters that's going to stop, even though he looks so tired. There was moments where he wanted to look like I thought he was going to give up, or he's going to start turning away and just not want to fight. But then in that second round, he got a second wind, and he realized, oh no, I got this. And and then you saw Ozdemir just go, oh shit, he's still here. That's all fight IQ. Learning that, okay, look, I gave it my all in the first. Okay, now let's slow this pace down. Let's set it into a groove. Let me pick and choose my shots. He wasn't doing that, and he wasn't doing it properly, and it cost him the fight.
Yep, that's exactly it.
So,
one of your guys, Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov, taking on Omar Gadzhiev. I mean, back and forth. Both guys very good. Nurmagomedov, better grappler overall, always ended up to come out in the top position when there was the takedowns and things like that. There was one moment in there, though, that he kneed Gadzhi to the head while Gadzhi was on the ground. And Lukash, if you're going to take the points when Nina Landsberg asks you for them, you better take the points in the next one when the same thing happens, but the guy doesn't ask for them. You can't have it both ways, especially if you're looking and saying, did the strike land cleanly? If it doesn't land, it's done, and it doesn't land with any type of power, okay. But when it lands, and it did land, take the point, man.
I didn't see the one with Nina on how hard it landed. Like,
it landed
was it the
clean.
same? Was it equivalent to the same? Yeah, but was Abu Bakr's the same? Manups? Was it the same?
Not the same position. It was Landsberg was basically on one foot, on a knee. Her one knee was close to the ground. Her one knee was on the ground, and she was like moving herself to get to the stand-up position, and she was kneed by Rosa as her knee was on the ground, and it landed clean. This one was different because it was the hand-down position.
Yeah. So was it, but I'm saying landing clean, though, but was it the same amount of force? Was it
Close to the same.
Does the ref, obviously, John, I mean, like you were a ref, like you've been in a couple cages before. So it was
one or two.
Equivalent to the same, though? Equivalent to the same?
Yeah.
Power, everything? I mean, obviously not power, like based on, but yeah. All right.
Same thing.
Well, I don't know.
Nina Landsberg looked at it and said, yeah, I'm okay, but you're going to take a point, right? And he takes a point. So what Gadzhi needs to now do, I guess, is make sure if you get fouled, tell the referee, hey, you're going to take a point, right?
Do you think that the ref was a little scared because Habib's it was Abu Bakr's last name? It's like I
don't know.
Dubai right now. Maybe I don't want to go.
Maybe I don't want to
like,
take
hey,
that, huh?
point. I mean, I still would have. You still would have had Abu Bakr winning the fight.
Yeah, no, he still would have won the fight.
Yeah,
but
he still would have won.
If you're going to take the points in the one and it's close to the same situation, same power, you got to take it in the next.
It does change the way the fight is fought, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But if he did take the point, it would have changed the way that fight would have been fought.
Yeah, Abu Bakr would have had to go after him a lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Next,
we had Arman Petrosyan against AJ Dobson. Man, I really like AJ Dobson. I thought he looked good as far as his movement and everything. Son, you've got to be offensive though. There were times when you had openings. Petrosyan obviously is good in the stand-up, but Dobson's wrestling, not bad, but just didn't have enough output. That was the big difference. Petrosyan had more output. That's what the judges are seeing. If you're not going to have that same output, you better have big moments where you're showing that you're hurting him or doing damage. And that really, there were a couple times, but it wasn't a sustained type of thing. It wasn't substantial. And he ends up losing a fight that he definitely could have won.
Yeah, AJ, when John says substantial amount of damage, take a look at the Rob Font and Chito Vera fight.
Yep.
Lost all 4 minutes and then rocks him in the fourth minute
damage.
and then finishes the round like that. That is substantial damage. So if you're trying to figure out what substantial damage is and what I need to do if I'm just going to give away the first 3.5, 4 minutes, That's what we're talking about. You got to be able to
Substantial
rock
damage.
them,
Hurt
drop
him.
them, get on top, hurt them, really pounce on them, really make the ref think about maybe potentially stopping the fight. That's what you need to do. Waiting around for the fight to happen and waiting around for action to happen, it ain't going to get you a win.
Well,
A lot of fighters are trying to ink out wins. Well, that's not going to get you anywhere with the UFC. That's one. So it's going to be a lot slower pace for you to get to the top. And then two, you're not marketing yourself very well. This is a fight game. You are in the entertainment business. You need to let it all hang out, man. Let it all go.
And he's gonna go back and watch that fight, and he's gonna see all of these opportunities that were there for him. That you got to take them, man. You got to go. But Muhammad Makhachev against Malcolm Gordon. Look at Muhammad Makhachev. That kid's good. He's fun to watch. The kid's got outstanding grappling. His wrestling is super strong. He's got Ruslan Khabib in his corner, as I guess is one of his coaches. So it's nice to see him. Ruslan is still looking for his first fight in Bellator. I know he's signed by him. His opponents keep pulling out. But this was a big win for Makhachev as far as he was winning the fight. And I love the fact that he went for the finish in the third round because he was losing that third round at times. There was some moments he was losing the round, then he came back and got position and stuff. But Malcolm Gordon, we know he's a tough kid. It was nice to see Chris Horodecki in his corner there. Chris back in the coaching now area and stuff, but that was good. But you're going to see a lot of this kid in Makhachev. He's good.
Yeah, Gordon just made mistakes.
Yeah.
He had moments where he was on the back. He had moments where he reversed the position, but he kept making mistakes and giving the fight away.
Yeah.
And that just comes with more time, especially when you're fighting guys that have been in the game for a long time or guys that have a lot of experience, whether it's Sambo, whether it's Taekwondo, whether it's karate, whatever other type of wrestling experience that's experience under the bright lights in front of competition, they learn not to panic. It seemed like Gordon, every time he got to a good position where he felt like, I got it, it slipped away.
Yeah.
And then that right there, that starts taking a toll on you as well. And you start going, shit, I had it. Now what do I do? And then you start fighting differently. And then it's like a snowball effect of a landslide of, it's not going my way. Now you start second guessing yourself. You start not doing what you want to do. And that's what I saw a little bit of was that every time he had a great position or he reversed a shitty position, and he got on top, then he lost it, and it was like, deep breath. Fuck, got to do it again. That's hard. That's hard to deal with as a young fighter.
It is.
So
it is.
All right. All right. Well, that's good.
That's good.
Is that good?
That is good.
All right. That's going to wrap up our UFC pay-per-view 280. That was a fun card, Sean.
There was a lot of good fights on that card.
There was one thing I wanted to ask.
A little disappointing in some areas. The whole TJ Dillashaw with his shoulder was kind of like the Aaron Pico thing.
Pretty on point by Josh Thompson. But anyways, can you pull up the lightweight rankings? Dave?
Yep, there you go.
Okay. That lightweight rankings there. Now we have a champion because the champion's name is Islam Makhachev. So I want to make sure that, John, where did we go from here though for both these guys? Charles is beating those guys. He's beating Dustin. He's beating Justin.
That's right.
And
Chandler. So if you're taking a look at all those names, you got to go all the way down, and you really got to look
one
and say,
guy.
Yep.
Let's go.
Let's go. It's got to be Beneil.
Yeah, it's got to be
Beneil against Charles because you look at they've already kind of come out. Islam is going to be taking on Alexander Volkanovski. That's great. Okay. So who do you put Charles against? Well, the guy that deserves the shot of everyone in there is Beneil. So put Beneil against Charles. If Beneil can get past Charles, he should get the winner of the Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev. If he can't, then you might be coming back with Islam against Oliveira, and that's what he was asking for. As they were interviewing him, saying, "Hey, give me another shot at him and stuff," but. I'm not sure it's going to be any different the next time.
No. I'd like to see Beneil versus Charles to see who goes there. You have the winner of Dustin versus Chandler. And then you've got Justin, who's just kind of like floating around in there.
Really, Justin has had, and this is, we talk about this 2 times. Look, he fought. He had a championship fight against Khabib. He got choked unconscious. Okay, he had a championship fight against Charles Oliveira. He got choked. Will they put him in another one? Yeah, they would, but it's not going to happen without him beating one or two guys and doing something. And I honestly think if Conor's coming back, I don't think he can make the 155 pounds, especially looking at him right now. So they were talking about him against Gaethje. That fight could happen, but I don't see it happening at lightweight.
I don't think Gaethje would give a shit. He'll fight him anywhere.
No, he would fight him anywhere. But you're looking at is, they're fighting, but Gaethje is getting a win over Conor. Does that move him up to get him back into, a championship slot in the lightweights? I don't know.
Yeah. So I think you look at Charles. I think the winner of Chandler and Dustin fights probably Islam, and you have Charles and Dariush. That would make perfect sense. I think because the Chandler one's going to happen sooner, Chandler and Gaethje will probably end up fighting Islam next. Do you think? That would make sense.
The winner of Dustin and Chandler fighting Islam next?
Dustin and Chandler, yeah. Dustin and Chandler probably fighting Islam.
I don't think so. I think you're going to see...
think Dariush?
No, I think it's going to be frickin' Volkanovski.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I completely forgot about Volk.
Hello?
That's not a good fight for Volkanovski.
No, I personally don't think it is. But I'm going to end up having to take Volkanovski's side because you're going to be a homer with Islam.
Stop it. John. You're
going to homer this to death. But you got to be honest. Size-wise, strength-wise, everything. Yeah. Volkanovski's going to come up to 155 just fine. But the size is going to be with Islam. The length, Islam might have a little bit on it, but the wrestling is going to be a big factor in that because people have a hard time getting Volkanovski down. Not sure that Islam's going to have the same difficulty.
Yeah, but the speed kind of concerns me a little bit because we talked about speed kills.
Yeah, and he throws in good combinations.
Inside,
he takes a good shot,
and he's gonna be hard to catch.
Yep,
he's gonna be hard to catch. He's gonna be it's gonna be Rocky chasing the chickens. That no ill will, Volk, man. I love you, brother. I think you're fucking fantastic.
He is.
But the way that Islam said, man, this guy, little guy. It's like he saw him coming, I guess, out of the sauna. He's like, what are you doing here? So I got to make weight. Wait, you got to cut weight? Look how small you are. I'm sorry. He's not a big guy. You can tell he's not a big guy, but I mean, the speed,
he was at one time. He was a 200 and some pound guy.
Like 230.
Playing rugby.
230, 240, right? Or something like that. Yeah. Fucking animal. Doesn't even look the same, though. When you see old pictures of him playing rugby, it doesn't even look the same.
Doesn't look anything like him.
Yeah. Yeah. He looks like a young John McCarthy. I could see Volk being your like long lost son. Were you ever in Australia? Way back in the day? No.
I have been. Too many times.
Oh no!
All right, so we have a fight that was announced with Whittaker versus Costa. What do you think? Go ahead, Dave. Talk to me about this one.
All right, so it's been announced for February 12th in Australia, and this is going to be
Dave. What? Go ahead, Dave. Who's going to win?
This is going to be the card that they're supposedly going to do Islam and Volk.
Oh, when is this? February?
February 12th. Yeah. It's about right.
I know he wants to get one in before they have Ramadan. I think it's like in maybe
Ramadan
April?
doesn't start until after February.
No, I know. I understand. March, April, saying, yeah. I know. No, I'm saying that he wanted to get another fight in before Ramadan.
Before?
Yeah. I think Ramadan is either April or May. I know it moves. So, yes, this to me is a fantastic fight. Is this fight going to be at 185?
Yes, middleweight
bout.
It is middleweight. Okay.
Yep.
I think it's a fantastic fight. I think Whittaker has the nod though. Whittaker is defensively and on the stand-up, defensively savvy on the stand-up. He's very tight with his stand-up. Paulo Costa is very wide with his stand-up. I don't think Whittaker is going to try to take him down, but I think he will threaten one here and there. But I don't think he's going to make it a focus to try to get him down. I think Whittaker's taken a lot away from that fight with Rockhold with Paulo Costa and been like, hey, We're seeing glimpses of the old Paulo Costa, the one that fought Yoel Romero, but you're not quite there yet. So this is a good opportunity for me to get another win over you, or for me to get a win over you. And but then what does he do? John, what does he do? He keeps knocking down the contenders. What does he do?
Well, let's just be honest. He's in that position right now that it's tough because he's got a guy in Israel Adesanya that is sitting there at the top that he's had 2 fights against. He had a good second fight with him, but Israel won it. And you take a look, and it's 2 losses there. What he's really going to do and hoping for, there's a guy named Alex Pereira who's going to be fighting Israel. And the biggest fan of Alex Pereira at that moment, I think, will be Robert Whittaker, because that puts him back into that position to get a title shot.
It does, but does it though? We've seen when long-standing champions, they get an automatic rematch.
Well, that's true, and he could.
He could be waiting for another year before he even gets an opportunity. If Pereira wins, you have to fight the rematch. Yeah. The rematch goes, it's another year, and however long, those rematches could take fucking a year itself. So he's got some time, man. He's gonna be knocking down all the contenders. I mean, if you're the UFC, what do you tell him? Like, hey, you're gonna have to either go to 70 or go to 205, because we can't keep having you beat our number one contenders. We can't build people off of this.
Well, look, you could be the fly in the pudding, but if he can,
I'll still eat that shit.
you take a look and you go, hey, you keep on giving me guys and I keep knocking them down, and they're going to come back and say, yeah, but you're not knocking down the one guy that you need to knock down.
Yeah.
And so I can only put you against him so many times. If it ends up where he gets a third shot at Adesanya and he doesn't get a win, there's no way they can come back.
John, you guys are forgetting about the guy with the secret juice, though. I mean, since he's been on that secret juice, he's been on a tear.
Oh, he's got 1 win over Luke since the secret juice.
Oh, secret juice.
Okay. Look, remember, Paulo Costa has the secret juice with him and Jake Shields and some other guys out.
Same secret juice that Dana was taking.
John, I want to throw this out there. You guys, tell me, guys. Tell me in the comments. I want to know. I'm going to read them because, I have a lot of people I got to tag on some stuff over the Islam Oliveira stuff. So don't think you guys are going to sneak away. I'm going to be in that comment section.
Are you trying to say that you're going to now go after people because you were right about one fight? God. Really?
I'm a professional,
are you that
John.
Small?
Of course I.
Are you that small?
No, I'm actually. I'm a little over 5'10". That's not that small. John, you're fucking right. I'm coming after them. You're damn right I am.
Right.
Jeez, don't tease me with a good time.
Josh,
I get bored on Sunday nights.
Be the bigger man. You're the bigger man, right?
No,
no, I'm not.
No, I've never really been the bigger man. Never. So, no. I'm going to throw this out there, and you guys tell me if I'm completely off the wall or not. But in situations like this, John, I would love to see the UFC do trades. Someone like Whittaker, trade him to Bellator, trade him to One or PFL. Let's start opening up that conversation. If you have a guy who's a dominant champion, you can't seem to get anyone past. You have talent that's there, but let's bring in something else to make some fun. Let's have some fun with this. The Chandler situation. I'd like to see and I'd love our champion and Patricio. No one can beat him. We're in that division. You have AJ McKee's beat him, but then he got it back from AJ. Yeah. They may fight again, but I could see, maybe not champions, but the number one contenders, like Yoel Romero. He's now over in Bellator. It wasn't a trade, but they're probably thinking, okay, I've got Whittaker, I've got Yoel. I've got 2 guys. Yoel's older. We have to just let one guy go, because why not trade that fighter away? Let's start seeing some trade between these promotions. Now that's a way to bridge the gap, John. Instead of saying, hey, what if my guy was to fight, the Bellator guy? What if we say Patricio fight Volkanovski? We're never going to see that. But let's start talking about trades. Give me somebody that you think, and I'll take somebody that I think. And hey, this guy, he has not been able to beat Izzy. He may not be able to beat Pereira. I'd like to see some trades.
You could take Whittaker, and since you've got Leon Edwards, put Fabian Edwards with his brother over in the UFC. He would want to do that. And take Whittaker.
Possibly, yeah.
You could do those kind of things, but it's not going to happen.
And he's young. He's talented. Someone you could. No, but I'm just simply saying.
It's going to happen.
somebody we could build up. Like, hey, we'll trade you one of our young, talented guys. That's like you said, I like the Leon thing. And then now we get Whittaker, who's obviously at the 185-pound division. We're trying to build that division up. You've got a young new champion there and Johnny Eblen, you also have Gegard there. You've got Van Steenis there. You've got good fighters there that they're looking to build now. Why not add someone like a Whittaker? I'm just throwing that out there, man. I'd love to see. I know we're not going to see Bellator versus UFC, and we're not going to see one versus PFL and PFL versus. We're not going to see all these companies, their fighters fight each other. But can we get some trades? Can we get some trades? I think we saw the trade, and I actually had, before the trade had even happened, I had talked about seeing trades go on. And I was talking about the Eddie Alvarez trade to one. I think this is a perfect opportunity and something like that to happen. And this is a guy that he's been at the top several times. I'd like to see him potentially fight somewhere else against guys, in another promotion where everyone talked about, oh, these guys, they're the best. Well, let's see. Trade them, get younger talent if you want. You have those guys that are there that are available, that sometimes they're wasting their career behind the guy who's the number one guy, whether it's the UFC, whether it's PFL, whether it's, in Bellator. Well, let's trade that person away and see what we can get for some young talent. Bring in something to spice it all up. How much more interesting, John, has the lightweight division been in Bellator since Chandler was released and they didn't have to fit that bill anymore and they let him go over there? And how much more exciting is the lightweight division since Chandler's got there?
That's right.
So now
both
we've
ways.
got Tofik Mosaev. Yeah, both ways. It worked out perfectly for both promotions.
Yeah.
Tofik Mosaev, Usman Nurmagomedov. You've got Alexander Shabli. All those guys came when Chandler was let go. Now, because that big bill is now with the UFC, and the UFC now has got someone that comes in and spruced it up. It worked out perfectly. I'd like to see some more of that going on. A little bit like how the Christian McCaffrey thing's going over to the 49ers right before they play my Chiefs. Fucking today, you sons of guns. Son of a bitch. Oh, I love Christian McCaffrey, though. He's a fucking fantastic football player. Sadly, he's going to be playing against my team today. Anyways. And what else you got for us, Podcast Dave?
All right, we'll wrap up on this one. We had Bo Nickal fall off of UFC 282. He was supposed to make his UFC debut there. However, it seems that his fight has been replaced with Paddy Pimblett versus Gordon in a lightweight bout on December 10th.
Look at Paddy Pimblett against that's Jared Gordon. That's going to be a really good matchup. I like that fight. Jared Gordon's good all-around fighter, tough, durable. I think Paddy might be a little bit too fast for him. That's going to be a problem, is the speed in it. But the whole Bo Nickal thing is, look, you can get hurt in training.
Yeah.
And he's smart to pull himself out. This is the whole thing that we were talking about with TJ. You go into fights with injuries. You just can't go in with substantial injuries that are going to create it to where you can't fight. And Bo Nickal's smart for pulling out, right? When he realizes I'm not going to be able to train the right way, I'm not going to be able to get past this injury in a real fight. He's got a career ahead of him, and it's the smart move. Bo Nickal is going to be good. Look, this is a guy that, go back and watch. Did you ever see Bo Nickal against Gordon Ryan in grappling? They had a grappling match. Yeah. This is a guy that, no one knew about. And it was good, and Gordon had a lot of problems during that fight as far as, figuring out ways to try to submit him. And he got, he rolled into all kinds of leg locks. Bo Nickal got out of him. This guy's going to be good. Just give him time. Don't rush it as far as, if he's hurt, fine, he's hurt. Let's put him to another card. That's what the UFC is going to do.
Mm-hmm. I like what Bo Nickal did. You have a bright future.
Yep.
Don't ruin it by jumping in there ahead of schedule. Take your time. And look, he's made a lot of good decisions throughout his career, whether it's wrestling, whether it's the way he's heading up his MMA career.
That's it.
Continue to do that.
Yep.
TJ Dillashaw is at a different position in his career.
Yes.
Him stepping away and not taking that fight, he may have not got a title shot. He maybe would have had to fight somebody else in that position to get to a title shot again. So that's why he took it. You get an extra bonus when you fight for the title. It should be in your contract. At least it wasn't mine. Is that I always said, hey, if I fought for a title, I got this much more. And if I actually won the title, I got this much more. It was like all negotiated separately, different points, all that stuff. So for him, it was beneficial for him to go ahead and take the risk. Like, hey, I make this amount of money after being off for a year. came back for the one fight, and then I was off for 2 years before that because of the suspension. I'm not saying he needs the money. What I'm saying is that that's a lot of money to turn away, knowing that if you said no, you may have to fight someone like a Petr Yan or somebody like a Chito Vera. And if you would have had to fight one of them or something like that, then you would have been stuck going, shit, I'm fighting a really tough guy for way less money.
Less money.
Fuck it. I'll take my chances. I'll make this wad of cash, get my shoulder done. Your shoulder's only going to take you about 5 months. I had my shoulder surgery. I fought Gilbert Melendez the first time after 5 months. I was in the cage in 5 months. So if he's rehabbing, which he does, he's a fucking nut job.
Yeah.
TJ Dillashaw is when it comes to recovery. He'll be back in the cage within 5 months. He can fight another killer and make some more money. But this was, I think, this different stages of their career. Bo Nickal young, still bright future. Take your time. Don't rush it. Don't do something stupid. TJ, different position, a lot more money on the line. Make your money, get your surgery, come back in 5-6 months, fight somebody else. Pretty simple. Dave, I sent you a video on the news thing, but it's just something I wanted to just have fun with. Is the Klitschko versus Shannon Briggs?
You never
push
say
that
anything.
up.
You never say anything.
It's in the news. It's in the news.
No,
You never hit send.
Well, I'm looking right at it. I'm looking
John,
right
do
at
you
it.
see it? I mean, I don't see it.
Yeah, it was sent.
It's in the news. It's
Yeah,
right below It's right below Bo Nickals.
Yep, it's there.
It's right below the Bo Nickal out of UFC debut. It's right before
Oh yeah, there.
Big John sends the look, Josh.
It sounded
This
like
monster is coming for your boy. What? I want everybody to see this. This is the type of texts I get from Big John. See, he sends me a picture of Charles Oliveira. See,
right.
he's coming for your boy.
Coming for him, baby.
Jeez, man.
I was just, hey,
Jeez, man.
I know you. You sit there, and then as soon as I do that, then you start thinking about the fight, and you start getting nervous again.
Yes, I do. This is the craziest thing. Klitschko pours the drink on Shannon Briggs' head. But Shannon Briggs, I saw the video before. This is like part 2. He starts eating Klitschko's food. So Klitschko takes his drink and pours his drink on Shannon Briggs does this thing apparently where he follows around wherever Klitschko is, and people try to tag Shannon Briggs to let him know where Klitschko is so he can just show up there and interfere with his food or his meeting or whatever it is. So he goes into this restaurant and he takes Klitschko's food and starts eating it right in front of him. So then Klitschko takes his drink and pours it on his head. But what I love is that he gets so worked up, he can't even get up to his feet. He's like flopping all around.
The water's
Shannon
all over
Briggs
the
is.
ground. He slips. Look at his feet, man. He's doing the curly shuffle.
John, how old is Shannon Briggs? 52?
He's coming up on my age. He's up there.
He's up there by you, right? Up there almost.
Shannon's got beefs with everyone. He's got beefs with Quentin Rampage. He's got beefs with everyone.
Why?
Dude,
Why?
let's go, champ. I like Shannon.
How old
He's a
is
good
he?
guy.
50.
50 years old.
50 years old.
Behaving like a
Jeez,
14-year-old.
Well, he got cooled off. He got
Jeez.
cooled off a little bit.
Hey, when you grab someone's food and you start eating it,
No, it was just,
let you know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. Look, I tried to keep my boasting to a minimum. I tried to. John, how did I do today?
Didn't do a good job.
you did good. You did good.
Did great.
You did good.
But overall,
But
I want
I'm
everyone
going to do
to
it all
understand
right
this.
now at the end.
No, I'm not going to do it here at the end. I want you guys to understand, John and I gave you guys some great odds at mybookie.ag with our promo code weighing in. We said to bet Benil Dariush, who was the underdog, which was shocking to both of us. And we went out and we said on a limb, we said take Sean O'Malley because the spread. On top of that, Sean O'Malley in a 3-round fight could stick and move. It didn't work out that way. We also thought Sean O'Malley lost, but
he won
on the bet, but in the judge's eyes, and then on the betting odds, he won.
We also said the under on Makhachev and Oliveira.
Yes, we did, and we also said if you get him by submission, that was a great bet as well. But then on the TJ Dillashaw, we thought that Sterling was going to be able to get the takedowns and dominate the top position. So I don't want to toot our own horn, but we seem to be on track these days when it comes to picking fights. So if you guys want to listen to us, we do Weighing on the Odds. It's a special segment that we do only on the midweek show that goes right before every pay-per-view. It's a fantastic little thing that we do, giving you our takes on the fights. Hopefully you guys pay attention, but that's only available at mybookie.ag, and that's only available on our main channel in our midweek show. Go to weighinginpodcast.com, pick up some of our merch. Got coffee mugs. It's sweater season, sweatshirt, hoodies, all that stuff. Sweatshirts. It's sweatshirt season.
There you go.
And we got long sleeves and hoodies, all those things available for you guys at weighinginpodcast.com. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, okay? And never forget, because this is my last little bit to boast.
Here it goes.
You'll be saying this a lot. Hashtag and still to the podcast and to my boy Islam Makhachev. Hashtag and still.
Well, no, he's new. For everyone out there,
you guys will be saying for a long time.
We hope you had a good time watching the fights. There were some really great fights. For Josh, I'm glad you're feeling good, brother. I'm glad the nerves are now gone because your man did win the fight.
So nice.
And for everyone, thank you for tuning into the Weighing In podcast. We will see you.